So a British citizen has come out recently to say that it is unfair for migrants or visa holders to get a mortgage in the UK while the British citizens are not. Are British citizens not really getting mortgages because of visa holders in the UK? Are they not getting jobs because of migrants in the UK? I am not one that would react to comments most of the times, but this one was left recently in the video. I talked about how we bought a house or how we got a mortgage in the UK within 2 years of moving to the UK. So I really want us to look at it because there's just been a lot going on and a lot have been said about migrants. I even remember a live stream I did recently. One was coming to spam the comment section with silly comments like that Laura had to choose the person. So look at this comment that somebody dropped on my video recently. This was a video about how we bought a house in the UK, how we got a mortgage and all of that. And he wants to know my take on this. Congratulations on your first house. I am a British citizen with over 18 years living in the UK, working and paying my taxes. I still haven't bought my first house, which I have been saving for the best part of 10 years. I don't particularly have a good credit score, average I would say, but that shouldn't prevent me from getting a mortgage considering the amount of financial transactions I have made whilst living in the UK. I feel it's very unfair that mortgages are given to visa holders who haven't been in the country that long, yet British citizens are being denied mortgages because of an average score. Let me know your take on this. So this is not an attack on this person in case he or she's watching this video. This is just my take on this, right? And I really want to hear your thoughts on this as well as we go on in this video for everyone that will be watching. Now, firstly, we must establish the fact that getting a mortgage in the UK is not about whether you're a visa holder or not. It's about whether you meet the requirement to get a mortgage. Banks and lenders are the ones who give mortgages and it involves money. So they have a particular requirement. Each lender have their own requirements and you have to meet them. They will not even come and say, oh, you're a visa holder, you're a British citizen, oh, now you can get a mortgage. No, they have the requirements you have to meet. And if you don't meet that requirement, whether you are a visa holder, whether you're a migrant, whether you're a British citizen or whoever you are, if you don't meet the requirements for a mortgage, then you will not get it. But if you meet the requirements, irrespective of your status, you will get the mortgage. So for you to even get a mortgage as a visa holder, it is more serious. You go through rigorous checks as a visa holder. I think it's even more severe than being a British citizen because you have a lot to prove. You have to show your right to work. You have to show a lot of things. You know that you earn a particular amount of money. You just have to basically prove that you can pay your mortgage every month if you are given this money. So guys, this is not about being a visa holder or not. In fact, it's even worse on visa holders. So basically, a visa holder, a migrant, is not the reason why you're not getting a mortgage. There might be something you're not doing right, so you should check that as well. You should go back to the drawing board and just check. And like you said, if it's your credit score, then why not sit down and check how you can build your credit score? Because we were all there. Most of us moved from abroad. Obviously, we are visa holders, so we came in with zero credit record, nothing. I remember the time we were about to get our mortgage, the first lender that our broker got actually pulled out, saying that we didn't have the right credit score, something like that required for a mortgage. They pulled out. It was the second lender we got that gave us the mortgage. So we had to start researching, doing a lot of research on how to build our credit score and putting in the work. It was a deliberate decision that we took, and most of us put in the work to actually build our credit score. So you have to educate yourself, do your research on how you can build yours as well, to be qualified to get a mortgage. It has nothing to do with our visas or things like that. It basically has to do with the banks and lenders, and if you meet the requirement, you will get a mortgage whether you are a visa holder or not. They have different things that they check. What kind of job do you do? Do you have a permanent job? Are you working with an agency? Because I remember that they don't put that into consideration. They usually put only your permanent job into consideration, when they are looking at giving you a mortgage, right? Just like you, we also applied for these things and we had to work extra hard just to get this mortgage, right? And another thing is, most visa holders are not entitled to public funds, okay? Zero benefits. So for everything that we get, we work for it and pay for it. So we have to work twice as hard. You can get, council houses and things like that. Visa holders are not entitled to all those benefits. So we work twice as hard to make every pound that we have. And for us, for visa holders to be able to afford our deposits, we had to really discipline ourselves. So you can take these out from this video as well. We had to save. We did a lot of research and did things that would help us. There was no extravagant spending, no holidays, no expensive buyings. We didn't buy things we didn't need, no unnecessary spendings and things like that. We just always had a budget every month and we tried to stick with it. So we had to do the extras to be able to save our money. So you should do that as well. We read up about building credit scores. We all had zero credit history, right? Coming in from abroad, we didn't even have any credit score, but we built it to the point where lenders, were willing to give us a mortgage because we had good credit score. So you should do the extra work, do your own research, and do what you have to do to build yours as well. Because at this point, you're more privileged. You are entitled to most of these benefits. You're entitled to, some of the things that we as visa holders are not. For instance, we paid a lot of money to move into the UK. We paid our IHS fees. I and my family, we paid about £3,600 for 3 years visa. Plus our visa fees, our flight, everything, we paid all that. Not being entitled to any public fund, any benefit. So everything we got or everything we have, we worked for it, we paid for it. So even in the midst of all that, while we're still doing all that, we're still able to save for our mortgage. But you, on the other hand, you don't have to deal with all that, paying AHS fees, paying all that. You don't have to deal with that. So you can actually focus on saving for your mortgage if you really want to get it. So visa holders are really not the reason why you are not getting your mortgage, okay? You should channel your energy towards meeting the requirements for lenders to be able to give you a mortgage. I understand that sometimes when things are not going the way you want it to go, you find who to blame for it, and migrants or visa holders, right, are the ones to blame sometimes for things like this. But obviously, it is not our fault. We have nothing to do with it. There are even some visa holders that don't meet the requirements for a mortgage. They wouldn't get it, right? So in as much as you're saying, oh, visa holders come in and after a few years, they've gotten their mortgage and things like that. If they do not meet the requirement, they will not get it. Let me tell you something, okay? Where I live right now, there are British everywhere. My neighbors are British. They are all around me. And they got their mortgage just as I got mine as well, except those who pay cash for their houses. It is on a first come, first serve basis for most of these new builds. You come, if you meet the requirements, they'll reserve your house for you, and then you go about, paying your deposit and all of that. So they will not say, oh no, sorry, we can't give you this house because a visa holder just got it. So that is why you're not getting your house as a British citizen. That's not true. If you meet the requirements for a home, if you meet the requirements to get a mortgage, you will get it. And the truth is, those selling these homes are not waiting to say, oh, I'm only going to give to British citizens, or I'm only going to give to visa holders. No, they're basically looking for people to come get the houses, to come and buy the houses, right? So if you come, you have the money, you meet the requirements, you will definitely get it. Another thing you should understand is just the fact that most migrants that came here to work, they did a lot of things to come here. It's not easy to get a job and move to the UK, especially if a professional that has a license and have to upgrade your license to a UK standard. You have to spend so much money, pay a lot. You can go through all the rigorous process and everything. There are people, yes, who do not require licenses to move here and they moved here, but there's a required skill set that they had which made them eligible to come here. Anybody cannot just wake up and move to the UK to work. You have to meet the requirements to get a work visa to move to the UK to work in the first place. And for you to be able to do all that and be accepted, it takes a lot. Take some exams, do everything you have to do to come into the UK to work. And then here you are contributing your quota, working, paying your taxes, doing everything you have to do, surviving without any benefits. So you see that any visa holder or any migrant that decides to buy a house, you should even be applauding the person, because the person goes through all of that. And remember that we still have lots of responsibilities back home. There's a black tax that most migrants or most visa holders are paying. So at the same time, amidst all of this, all the responsibilities that we have, we're still able to work hard and raise our deposits. So that's to show you that we are doing our best to do what we have to do and just live a comfortable life. So it is not our fault. It's not a fault of a visa holder like me that you as a British citizen is not able to buy a house or get a mortgage. You should do what you have to do well as a British citizen, because you are more privileged. So it should even be easier for you, because it is harder for us. For instance, if you want to get a council house today, you can, but we cannot. So imagine that as a migrant or as a visa holder, having all these responsibilities, you're paying for childcare, you're not entitled to any public benefits, you have your bills to pay, you're paying IHS fees, paying for your visas, paying for all that, you're paying your rent, you have a lot you have to feed and do all that. Amidst all of this, we still have to go the extra miles to save for our deposits. And then at our workplaces, most of us, work extra hard, pick extra shifts, look for businesses that we can do just to help us support ourselves. We do all that, we contribute, we help the economy. So you won't say, oh, migrants or visa holders are taking away your jobs, because it's not even easy for anybody to stay in their home countries and get a job in the UK. It means that that person is qualified, because employers don't go about employing anybody. They go for the best. So for an employer to employ you, for you to even apply for a job from outside the UK and get it, that means you have something to offer. Migrants pay IHS, which is not small money. You can check how much IHS is right now and still pay their taxes. So don't you think they are paying for the same thing twice? Is that really fair? Is that not what you should be looking at as being unfair? Nobody is taking away your jobs. Migrants have to do twice what you have to do to get that job. So if you're not getting a job you applied for, it means you're not qualified for it, and not because a visa holder or a migrant is applying for the same job with you. Okay? If we even want to look at it that way, you are more privileged for things like that. So any migrant who is getting jobs or getting a mortgage is because they deserve it, is because they are qualified for it, is because they worked for it. Right? So these are the things that we should be looking at. Okay, I just felt I should come and make this video. I know I have a lot to say. I'm everywhere right now. I'm becoming so emotional, but I really want to hear what you guys think about all of this. And please, like I said, this is not in any way to attack this person. This is just to point out some certain things that he or she might be neglecting, or he or she have not really thought about, because like he said, he wants to hear my thoughts. He wants to know what I think about this, and truly this is what I think about this, and I'm sure he wants to hear what you think about this as well. And if you're a visa holder, a migrant living in the UK, planning to get a mortgage soon, and you need a mortgage advisor, I have one to recommend to you. I'll leave their details in the description box, okay? Feel free to contact them. I also have more good news to share with you all regarding buying a house or getting a mortgage in the UK for all migrants and visa holders. If you're interested in that, please let me know in the comment section and I'll share. Trust me, you will love this one. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.